Hello everyone and welcome back. I have to admit that this is a very much long overdue video, especially where my last tutorial or video in general I believe was over 2 years ago, maybe close to 3. But that aside, I figured I would touch upon one of the more popular builds on my channel, and that is of course the famous Windmill. Now, I wanted to do something that was a little bit easier for survival players. Granted, this does use bone block, and I know bone block can be a pain to get unless you have a spawner right next door, but I think it looks the best for what I like, for what I'm building. You can also use white stained clay, but it has a little more of a pink appeal to it, but it still works just the same. So, with all that said, I think it's time to begin. So with any build, we need a nice strong foundation. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place an oak log straight up like so. And then from that point I'm going to take the more oak logs and I'm going to lay them flat with the surface going out 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And get lost. So when you get to this point here, what I'm going to do is create a circle around. So to make it a little bit easier, I'm just going to put 3 blocks like this, and then I'm going to again go out 5 times from the center block in a different direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then again following that same pattern right there, 1, 2, and 3. Now when you have this sort of design, to kind of complete the circle, or in this case a quarter of it, we're going to go out 2, going in once, and then over 2. Then going in once here, and it should line up with the center block, and then again 2 more. So what you should have is this sort of ring appeal. And the weather, of course, perfect timing. If I could remember how to Minecraft, that would be perfect. There we go. So all I'm going to ask is that you do the same thing all the way around, and I'll be right back while I do that. Alright, so your end result should look something like this. Should be just a giant circle, or, as close to a circle that Minecraft will allow you. And then in the empty spaces in between, it's really going to depend on what you're going to want to use for material. I'm just going to use oak planks because I think it goes well. You can use a different contrast of a color, like birch wood works nice as an interior flooring with oak, or something darker like spruce wood. But I'm just going to fill this in, and again, I'll be right back. Okay, so once your floor looks something like this, or the foundation anyways, the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to build the frame first. I'm going to leave out all the extra blocks, as a lot of it's just a base, but we're just going to do the frame first. So from this foundation piece, we're going to go up 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to do this all the way around in the center pieces. And I'll do that. And then once you have built up from all the way around, we're going to match the circle again from the top. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to take a log, go up 1 more time like so, and then I'm going to come out once here and once there. And then all I'm going to do is match the wooden logs with the bottom or the foundation. So up 1, over, then over 2, and then over 1. You can fix this if you really want to, but it's not necessary, like just so. There we are. And I just and all we need to do at this point is finish this all the way around. So I'll be right back. Alright, so when you're done with that, this is what you should have so far. You can go ahead and place the door wherever you might like. It doesn't necessarily matter. I mean, if you don't want it on the front, then I guess it would matter. So anywhere anywhere you're not going to put the wind blades is fine. So to do that, I'm just going to knock out 3 logs and then build up 3 on either side, and that will allow an opening like so. And then just to kind of make way for the door, I'm just going to put 2 logs like so in front of the door, as just to kind of denote where I'll be stepping inside the building. So now that we have that established, from the center I'm going to build straight up with the oak logs, just to kind of the midway, to match the height that we've already built. And then just to kind of give it some more structural integrity, I'm going to take some more oak logs and form some trusses. Now, they don't really mean anything. It's just I think it gives it a little more added realism despite using a lot more material. So in survival mode, this is probably pointless, but I just think it looks a little better. So once you've done that, we're going to build from the interior point of the structure now. So I'm going to put a log right here on the second notch in, and then we're going to go up one there, and I'm going to do this on all sides. So you're going to go up 2 on the lower ones, and then 1 on the higher points. So that's how you should have your structure. It should just be just 4 points sticking out. And from there, welcome back, weather. Let's just put quite a number in there. There we go. So from this point, I'm going to build up from here 9 times. So actually 8 times, because including this block. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we're going to do that on all 4 corners. Now, once you have built up to the desired height, you could build it higher. I just found that this level matched, you know, kind of a ratio, if you will. It just seemed like it was perfect for the size of the building to how tall it should be, because then you got the kind of rough-edged base to a more finite center, and then a slightly overhanged roof, not too much. But that technicality aside, let's go ahead and create the roof. Now for the roof, what we're going to do is we're going to have a notch point out like that, and we're going to match again for a third time the foundation. So I'm going to go out and create that ring. Just match the very bottom of this all the way around on the top. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, now that the framework's almost in place, we still got a few more things to do, and that would be the rooftop. So the key here is that this roof is a semi sort of dome. So to build that, I'm going to create the trusses one more time. So I'm going to have this log go across here on the top. That's flush with the surface. And then I'm going to go down 1 block and then create another truss just to kind of support the upper one. Again, in survival mode, probably not necessary. I just think it adds a little more. And then now for the roof, on these edge points here, we're going to go in 1, and then we're going to go up 2. And then once you've done that, we're going to go up another 2. And then one more time, we're going to go in 1, and then up again, and another 2. Or, 2. So at this point, what you should have is if you take the oak logs from the center and build straight up, they should reach into the center point, and that's what you want. So I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to go up 2, then I'm going to go inside once, and then up 2 again. And then one more time, going in, and then out 2 from the center. So if you just want to repeat that for those 2 other posts, and we can move on. Now that the frame has been established, we can go ahead and start filling in the rest of the build. I'm going to show you the materials that I personally use. I'm not going to build the fan blade just yet, as that will probably get in the way, and we'll deal with that later. So I'm going to go ahead and switch on over to the blocks. Okay, and for the blocks that I used, I probably should have showed this first, but I actually forgot to do so. For the base, we're going to just start off with some stone materials. I'm going to grab... Oh, don't grab the infested cobblestone. I don't recommend that. So we're going to grab some cobblestone, some regular stone bricks, some mossy stone bricks, some cracked stone bricks, and, of course, my favorite, andesite, stone brick stairs, and cobblestone stairs. Also, I'm going to put some material away. I'm going to just throw those out. And grab some oak fence logs, or excuse me, oak fences. So with those materials in hand, I'm just going to use a base. So what I mean by this is I'm going to go ahead and just fill in the walls with stone brick with stone bricks. So all I'm doing is lining up the rings here at this point. So if you just want to go ahead and fill in all the way around, please do so. Alright, so when you have finished that, you should just have some sort of basic ring around your structure filled with stone bricks. Perfect. Good enough, right? Well, we're going to go ahead and actually use some polished andesite now. Now, the point of the andesite is I like to use it as a semi sort of brace, I guess, is the best way to put it. So it adds like a little extra structural integrity to the sides, as if it really attempts to do something, I guess. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to line the andesite all the way around, like so. And this is just to kind of give it a little more oomph, I guess, and take away some of the logs, as you don't want too much of one material, as it begins to overpower, I guess, the artistic appeal that you might be having. So with that done, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go up in random deviations around the building. So you just want to add a little bit of here and there. So I'm going to go up 4 times here, put 1 there, but then on this side I might go up just 3 times. It's really up to you. This is just to make the building look a little more imperfect. If it's too perfect, then it doesn't seem real, if you know what I mean. So with that done, I'm just going to add a little more detail since we're focused down here. I'm going to take some stone staircases, or cobblestone staircases, and just kind of throw them wherever I think it needs it, just to break it up a bit so it's not so perfect looking. And I'll even throw in some oak fences in like this. This is kind of like a little extra detail. Is it necessary? No. I just think it adds a little bit more here and there. So I'm just going to do that to the base, and we'll go from there. Alright, so once you've finished the imperfections, if you decide to do it, you don't have to again. We can go ahead and focus more on the upper levels of the structure. We can come back to details later. We don't need to do it all at once. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some oak logs, because I did forget part of the framework, and then I'm going to grab, of course, the bone block. So the idea behind the bone block is we are actually going in one more level. So I'm going to take these oak logs and then point them out in the directions going out one more time that's flush with the second ring. So I'm just going to do this all the way around. Now once you've created a 2-wide ring, we're going to go ahead and fill in from underneath here with the bone blocks. This is now going to be the exterior part of the upper or the second floor of your windmill. And I'm just going to fill these in all the way up. And don't stress out, it is not supposed to match with the upper ring. So if you did do it that way, it is right. If it matches the upper ring, something is wrong. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this all the way around the building. Okay, so once you have that filled in, we can go ahead and actually determine some windows. Again, this is completely up to you and how you are and where you want your windows to be. Now, ideally, you don't want your windows to be where the windmill blade is, because, I mean, I suppose you could, but realistically speaking, it seems a little odd to have it right there, but you could. That said, on this build, I like to put one over the door, for instance. So I'm going to knock out a point. Let's see here. It's going to be up a little bit higher, so we're going to raise it by 1 and 2. Actually, just 1. How do I want to do this? Yeah, just go up once here, and then we're going to knock out the window right here. So once that has been established, we're going to go ahead and break 4 of the bone blocks and replace it with a few more oak logs. So that just kind of creates the frame of the window. And in fact, I actually want this to go up one more time because I just made a mistake myself. So I'm going to go ahead and raise that so you'll have 3. Then I'm going to go ahead and break the bottom again, put it back in to 2, and then put the bone blocks back in place. So from this one log up from the ring, you should have 2 exposed logs like so. And I'm going to do this on 2 points. It doesn't matter where, as long as it's on those points or the center pieces, and preferably not in where the wind blade is going to go. Okay, so once you've established where you want your windows to be, we can go ahead and work on the rooftop. So the roof is mostly one color. If you're like me and you like to kind of play with different colors just to give it a different appeal, I suppose. I don't know why concrete's there. I wanted terracotta. So green. There we go. So a good idea with the roof is instead of just using one solid color, kind of mismatch, I guess. Something like this. You don't have to. I just think it gives it more depth, even though it really doesn't. It just gives it more color appreciation, I suppose. So I'm going to go ahead and start that with the green terracotta. Just use a base. And I'm going to go from that point there, and I'm just going to match the logs. So I'm just going to fill out the interior portions of it, just kind of matching the logs, the framework that we started. And then on top of the bone block, raising it 3 times just to keep matching the surface. So at this point, we're going to make some changes here and there. From this centerpiece, I'm going to come out once, but then go down again, because I don't really want 4 up there. I want to kind of gradually go down, just to give it more depth, instead of a flat surface. It's a little boring. And then here, we're going to go in 1 time there, and then 1 time there. Then underneath, we're going to come down once each, which would leave this odd little squarish centerpiece. We don't want that, so I'm going to knock those down a level and go in 1 like so. Now you can fix that however you might like. I think every variation I've done is a little bit different than the next, so it's really up to you at that point how you want to do that. So I'm going to do that all the way around the building. Alright, so what you should have now is a domed rooftop. It is slightly different than the other one. That's just because I used a framework. So I know on survival worlds this is probably going to be a pain, but we're going to do some backtracking here. Because now that we have kind of what we're looking for, I'm going to take an andesite block, a polished andesite, and I'm going to take wherever the oak logs were, and I'm gonna just replace them. This is kind of creating a rim around the surface here. That way it makes it stand out just a little bit more and gets rid of the overload of oak that we've established. And we're just going to do this all the way around the building on the top piece only. The middle one we are going to leave alone. And then once you've done that, we're going to go ahead and grab a cobblestone staircase. And this is to give the same sort of metal retaining appearance on even the top. So we're going to take a polished andesite, go up once, a cobblestone staircase, and then again polished andesite, cobblestone stair, and then we're just going to follow with cobblestone staircases all the way to this point. Now, we want to get rid of this very flat look, because you're going to have a very strange flat look through the surface. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a cobblestone slab, and I'm just going to put it right there. And I'm going to do this whole thing all the way around. Okay, so once you've finished that, we're still kind of working on the outside of the building here. I want to give it a little bit more sturdiness, I guess. So from this point where the notches are facing out, I'm going to put an andesite block underneath and then also a cobblestone staircase. But then just to finish it up a bit more, I'm going to take 2 fences on either side of the notches, just like so. So it should form some sort of plus sign, I guess. And then also put some cobblestone staircases on either side, like that. And again, I'm just going to do that wherever that notch is present. So I'm going to keep going around the building in a circle. Alright, it's getting there slowly but surely. We've kind of moved right into the details pretty quick here. So the next step of the details, we're going to start adding some more like brace sort of styles here. So it's not such a sharp cutoff with the ring. So when it comes to this sort of detail, what I like to do is I'm going to add cobblestone staircase here, here, put 4 on either side around the window, but then to break up the cobblestone look, because there's quite a bit there, I'm just going to add a stone brick staircase there. And then to kind of build off the trusses that we put on the inside, I'm going to break this middle block and then kind of fake the fact that a notch is probably coming out like that. So like the interlocking logs, we're just going to fake the appearance that one is coming out. And then to keep going around the building, I'm going to raise up the log here in this centerpiece by 1 and then raise 2 fences. Does that do anything? Absolutely not. It's just to break up the textures a little bit. And again, I'm just going to do this whole thing all the way around the building. Alright, so once you've gotten that down, we're going to go ahead and grab some spruce wood trap doors. I think these make better window shutters than the old trapdoors did by a long shot. So I'm just going to put these around where my window frames would be. In this case, I built quite a few windows. I built 3, so I'm just going to do that on all of them. And then, of course, I'm going to go in and grab some window panes. Personally, I prefer the clear window panes. The color ones are a bit too glossy, or I don't know, something about them I just don't care for. And I'm just going to fill all the windows in like so. So for the most part, the building is done. Now we're going to get to the more, I wouldn't say intricate part, but it's kind of meticulous. We're going to go and make the wind blades. So wherever you decided to put the wind blades, it's going to come out from one of the notches. So I'm going to go out by once, like so. And then I'm going to put a polished andesite block right here. And from that point, I'm going to start from the top. I'm going to go up 3 times with oak wood logs. And then I'm going to go up 2 times with oak wood logs. And then again once. And then I'm going to create that same sort of circle that we used for the foundations, except a little bit different. I'm just going to end it like that. Now the key with the wind blade is we want to keep the flow the same. I've made mistakes where, you know, I kind of did that and it sort of strange looking piece. It just doesn't work that way. Making it simple. So go out 3 from a different direction, if you understood that English. Good for you. Going to go up 2. We're going to go over 1, and we're going to go up 2 again, and then up 3. So this will help demonstrate a little bit better. See how everything is flowing the right way? That's kind of how we want to keep this going. So I'm going to do this 2 more times. Okay, so you should have the outline of the windmill blades done. Now we're going to go ahead and grab some wool and some oak fences. Now you can use a variety of wool. I think mixing it with like a light gray or maybe even a dark gray will give it some more detail. It'll make it stand out even more. But I'm going to just stick with the plain old white color for now. And I'm going to take the oak fences and go along the insides of the fan blades here. Only going up 2 to the middle point. But what do I mean by the insides? So if you have the oak fences here, I'm going to go on the next level up and put oak fences on the top of that one. And I'm just going to do this on all the blades. All right, and once you've placed the oak fences, we're going to go ahead and use the wool. Now, the wool, it's a little bit tricky because this is a semi sort of small wind blade, so you're not going to get that perfect rounded appeal. So a lot of this is just going to come up down to you and your creativeness that, you know, that you might imply to it. But a good sort of rule of thumb I like to do is either go 2 to 3 out away from the blade just to kind of give you some more room to work with. And then at this point, I'm just going to raise it by 1 all the way across. Then again, I'm going to go 2. And then I'm going to go up with the blades like so. But the key here now is making something look somewhat reasonable. Now, that looks a little too chunky. I don't like it. So how do I fix this? Well, I'm just going to keep playing with it until I like it. That's reasonable. It's not perfect. I could cut this down a little bit, but then it looks like a staircase, and I don't like that either. So I mean, it just requires a little bit of tinkering in how you want to work with that. Okay, that's okay. It's not great. It's not bad. And I'm just going to do that. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You want to keep some imperfections. I mean, you don't have to, but, you know, it's a personal preference. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on all 3 of the other blades. All right, so that should be the windmill. Now that the exterior is done, you can add more details here and there. I wanted to keep this one somewhat simpler. So like, for instance, on this other windmill, what I did was I put some leaves and stuff on it just to kind of look like some overgrowth, as it is going to be something you're going to have around the farm, I'm assuming. So, I mean, you could add some more details like so. Well, where did I put the leaves? And then you just have some leaves kind of like growing off of it. You could even add other little tidbits. It's just to dress it up a bit. Again, it's not necessary. I just think it adds a little more character. So, for instance, I'm just going to take some jungle leaves like this. I'm going to just kind of caress the building here and there. And I'm going to put some oak fences underneath it just to give it a little support. Though it is life, it's not necessary. You could do vines, but I don't like how vines grow to overgrow the entire building. So that's pretty much the exterior. There are a few pieces here and there we could adjust still, like so, if you really wanted to. It's not necessary. It's mostly details at this point. But that aside, we can go ahead and look to the inside of the structure and how we want to do the interior. Okay, so before we hit the interior, I think it's better that we start from the staircases and work our way in. So I'm going to put a stone brick staircase at the entrance between the 2 logs that we've placed from the beginning, and an oak fence on either side, and then just to kind of give it a little more of a gradual entrance, I'm going to put a cobblestone staircase on the top. And it's not necessary, but you could put a stone brick staircase underneath there, or you could use an oak wood fence, depending on your preference. If you're playing on a newer release, you could use like the lanterns and dangle them from the oak wood fences. Then once you're inside, now it's a bit more tricky, because as a personal preference for someone who likes to conserve space when it comes to building, I do much prefer ladders. You could do a staircase going up and around in a circle, but where we're so limited on space here, I feel like a ladder is a better option. It's not necessary. You can do a staircase. But in the case of this build, I think what I'm going to do is build straight down like so, with a log in the back of the building, the opposite direction from the door. And I'm going to go grab a few ladders, of course. And then break one of the trusses and have the ladder go straight up. Now, of course, that takes away from the structural integrity just a little bit, because that wouldn't make much sense to have that free floating like so. But we won't talk about that. And then next, what I'm going to do is, oh, that should go one more. I'm going to take some oak planks and I'm going to build the floor on the upper level. Okay, so now that the upper floor has been completed, you're probably asking, how do we use the windows since they're so high off the ground? Well, I do have a suggestion for that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some oak wood logs. I'm going to build two here. So I'm going to go up twice each in front of the building like so. And then I'm going to use some oak wood planks like this. It's kind of a space taker, but it's okay. And then I'm going to put one oak wood log like that, and then another one out like so. And then I'm going to build some cobblestone staircases like this. And well, we go. Ta-da. Perfect. And I'm going to do that with all the windows. Now, you could create some raised platforms if you would prefer. It's not necessary. Like I said, I wanted to keep this somewhat simple. Alright, so really the last thing we need to do to finish this building is pretty much just take an oak log straight up and down from the center. And there we go. And that's it. Of course, if you want to make it a little brighter, I'd definitely add some more torches, some more lighting into it. For the roof, you could do something more with it. I like to do simple fixes when it comes to this because personally I hate seeing the roof on the inside of a building. So my option is I will take some oak wood logs where the terracotta meets the bone block. I will make the oak wood logs stick out towards us, I guess, or towards you. And we're just going to build it like so. And then again, I'm just going to do that the entire way around. And what you should have would look like this. So we're kind of squaring it off on the inside. If you want to decorate a little bit more, just add some fences. It's kind of funny how fences can be used for so many different things in this game. And then from that point, we're going to go up here to the ceiling, and we're going to just take the oak wood logs here, finish up there to the corners, and then lastly, we're just going to fill in with the oak wood planks. This is just a take away from the green on the interior, is it? Oop. Oh, hang on. Again, it's not a necessity. I just don't like looking at the ceiling from inside the building that's supposed to be the rooftop. It's a little odd to me. And I'm just going to fill this in following the plan that the roof has. And there you have it, a new windmill tutorial that has been long overdue. When it comes to interior, it's not necessarily my favorite thing, so that probably seemed a little rushed. I'm not that good at it, and I'd like to see what you guys can do with it instead. If you'd like to post pictures, go for it. I'd like to see how you could do the interior better than me. But I do plan to do more videos in the future. I want to keep doing some tutorials, and that's why I'm asking you. I put something on the community page, a poll, asking which styles you'd like to see. I'm very, I favor medieval style and a classical style, I guess, is this sort of mixture. But please cast a vote or tell me what you think, what sort of style I should tackle next, or stay with medieval. I don't mind that one either. But, well, until then, I'll see you in the next video.